Hello and welcome to Firstpost Africa, where we get you the top stories from the continent and from across the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the AI Impact Summit 2026 in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi unveils Mana Vision to guide responsible AI development globally. UK police arrest King Charles's brother Andrew on suspicion of misconduct during his time as a trade envoy. Andrew has been accused of sharing confidential documents with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. US renews threat to pull out of the International Energy Agency. Washington says it would press the organization to abandon its net zero emissions agenda in the next year or so. Terrorists kill over 30 people and destroy 7 villages in raids in northwestern Nigeria's Kebbi state. Police blame the attacks on members of the Lakurara group. And Pakistan's hockey chief resigns a day after the Prime Minister ordered an inquiry into a shambolic tour of Australia that saw the national team scrubbing dishes in a guest house. Hello and welcome. Our top story today is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The country's east is rich in minerals, but it is a conflict-torn region. The M23 rebels and their affiliates continue to spread terror in the area and control strategic mining reserves. But now, in a twist, it seems that the DRC's latest move could draw the US closer to the battlefield. Now, according to media reports, Kinshasa has offered the Rubaya Coltan mine to the US under a strategic minerals partnership. The mineral deal was signed back in December when US President Donald Trump brokered a ceasefire between the DRC and Rwanda, which has been accused of backing the M23 rebels.
The United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody. And we'll be involved with sending some of our biggest and greatest companies over to the two countries. And we're going to take out some of the rare earth and take out some of the assets and pay, and everybody's going to make a lot of money.
The M23 and its affiliate, the Congo River Alliance, the AFC, were not a part of this peace deal. The two rebel groups are also under US sanctions. But here's the catch. They are the ones controlling the Rubaya mine that the DRC has reportedly offered to the US. Now, the Rubaya mine is situated in North Kivu. It produces around 15% of the world's coltan. The mine has one of the world's richest tantalum deposits. Now, tantalum is used in the production of semiconductors, aerospace components, computers, mobile phones, and gas turbines. According to the UN estimates, the rebels collect at least $800,000 per month from taxes on Rubaya Coltan production and trade. Now, the rebels controlling the mine have criticized the US mineral deal. They have said that the Congolese government should not negotiate new mineral partnerships while fighting continues. Despite the Trump-brokered peace deal, clashes continue to erupt in the region. And now the question arises, is the Congolese government using its strategic mineral reserves as bait for the US to recover the area from the rebels? Now, this comes as Washington has been eyeing to loosen Beijing's grip over the DRC's mineral reserves. These include lithium, copper, cobalt, and gold assets. In its push to counter China's influence in Africa, will the US be drawn into the long-running conflict in eastern DRC And will this minerals deal ease the crisis or make the region even more unstable? And moving on to the Horn of Africa, Somalia's war against Al-Shabaab has seen a massive shift. This shift is driven by US airstrikes and expanded ground operations. The Somali government has praised Washington for its support in countering the menace. But there is a lot more happening on ground zero. Let's dive right in. The US has been carrying out airstrikes targeting Al-Shabaab in Somalia for more than a decade. It is a terrorist group linked with Al-Qaeda, and the US operations against it are taken care of by US Africa Command, or AFRICOM. Now, the latest attack was conducted on Tuesday in Harbol. Now, these strikes are regularly conducted in coordination with the Somali government and the Somali army. But since Trump returned to the White House last year, the US has dramatically escalated these airstrikes. The number of strikes launched last year has surpassed the combined number of strikes carried out under the presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. Now, the US strikes reportedly target Al-Shabaab's leadership, training sites, ammunition, and bomb-making network. And authorities say that the Somali troops have retaken areas in the regions of Lower Shabelle, Hiran, Middle Shabelle, and parts of Jubaland. Now, these had been controlled by terrorists for years.
The most important air support given to us achieved its desired effect. We also thank the U.S. forces and its government for the attack in Kuta, which killed a number of members of Al-Shabaab, because U.S. air support helped us greatly, and I hope similar attacks will continue as this helps us achieve a lot.
Now, expanded drone coverage has also allowed forces to effectively target Al-Shabaab locations.
The hiding places of Al-Shabaab were finally located, unlike in the past, and without drones and air attacks, that would not have been possible.
Now, despite praise from the Somali government, the US operations in the country have drawn criticism over civilian casualties. Now, AFRICOM has acknowledged some of these cases and has launched an investigation into these allegations. Now, according to media reports, back in November, the US strikes and Somali forces killed at least 11 people, including 7 children in the lower Juba region, highlighting the continued risk of civilian casualties in counter-terror missions. Meanwhile, Washington is ramping up strikes against Al-Shabaab at a time when the African Union troops are gradually reducing their footprint in Somalia. And this comes as Somalia is assuming greater responsibility for its own security. But Somalia's fight against Al-Shabaab is far from over. The terror group continues to be a top threat to the region. At the end of the day, US air power may be turning the tide against Al-Shabaab, but Somalia's future will depend on its own ability to hold territory, build stability, and secure lasting peace. Now, Nigeria is rich in resources, but for the men digging them out, that mineral wealth is turning into a death trap. A reported gas explosion at a lead and zinc mine has killed at least 37 miners, injured many more, and left the community grieving for their loved ones. The incident happened near the town of Wazi in a plateau state. The site was reportedly operated by Solid Unit Nigeria Limited. Now, reports say that most of the victims were young men between the ages of 20 and 35, and they had finished dawn prayers and returned underground to complete the final hour of their shift. Moments later, witnesses say the mine was overwhelmed by a sudden gas explosion. Workers arriving for the morning shift later discovered the bodies. More than 20 miners were rescued and taken to hospital. Initial state reports describe the incident as a blast, but other reports suggest the deaths were likely caused by carbon monoxide poisoning. Witnesses say toxic gas built up inside deep tunnels with poor ventilation. Many workers reportedly collapsed where they stood.
We are close to the sites. People were inside the mining pits and suddenly a gas exploded. We tried many efforts for rescue, but unfortunately 38 people have died and about 27 others have been rushed to hospital.
Following the disaster, federal authorities ordered the immediate closure of the mining site. Access to the area has been restricted while investigators determine the exact cause. The mining minister has also dispatched a high-level technical team to examine any wider safety failures.
The minister has dispatched a team of officials and investigators to probe the remote and immediate causes of the incident and recommend appropriate sanctions. The team also includes experts in mining, environmental compliance, and artisanal cooperatives. The minister is coordinating the team and support services to ensure effective management of the situation.
However, reports suggest rescue and inspection efforts face another challenge. Armed criminal groups, locally known as bandits, operate across parts of this mining belt. Officials say their presence makes enforcement and emergency response significantly harder. Plateau State has long been one of Nigeria's historic mineral zones. Its capital, Jos, has been associated with mining for decades, but fatal accidents at mining sites continue to surface nationwide. Just 5 months ago, a pit collapsed in Zamfara State, reportedly left up to 100 people dead. In June of 2024, flooding buried more than 30 miners at a site in Niger State. And earlier that same year, illegally stored explosives detonated in the city of Ibadan, killing 3 and injuring 77. From gas leaks to tunnel collapses, analysts say that mining disasters have repeatedly exposed safety gaps across Nigeria's extraction sector. And officials say that illegal mining is another major factor that continues to fuel these deadly incidents. Criminal gangs allegedly control parts of several gold and lead fields, and these groups reportedly run protection rackets and smuggling routes that help finance armed activity. Analysts warn that weak enforcement is allowing illegal mining to continue, forcing many miners deep underground without proper structural support or gas detection equipment. Nigeria's government says it is tightening control of the mining sector. Plans are underway to group small-scale miners into regulated cooperatives. Authorities say that safety oversight and environmental enforcement are also being expanded. But analysts say that the latest tragedy shows serious monitoring gaps may still remain at the community level. As the investigation continues, Nigeria faces renewed pressure to confront the dangerous mix of unsafe mining, criminal control, and weak enforcement. Now, while much of the world treats cryptocurrencies like a risky investment, millions across Africa are using it to buy bread, pay for subscriptions, and run their businesses. A new report says that Africa is now leading the world in spending digital dollars, also known as stablecoin. Now, the survey examined financial patterns of 4,650 individuals across 15 countries who either hold or plan to hold the digital currency. At the heart of this revolution are the continent's two giants, Nigeria and South Africa. In these countries, stablecoins are being used for everyday payments. So what exactly is a stablecoin? A stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency linked to the US dollar. One digital coin equals one real dollar. Unlike Bitcoin, its price does not swing wildly. Users can store digital dollars on their phones, and they do not need a US bank account. Now, unlike other regions where people hold these coins for years, people in Africa are spending them quickly. In Nigeria, 62% of users say that they use stablecoins for daily expenses. In South Africa, about half say the same. So why is adoption moving faster here than anywhere else? Because in many places, the traditional financial system is struggling. In Nigeria, the local currency, the naira, has been losing value. For years, people who wanted dollars had to visit exchange bureaus or the black market. Now they can simply open an app and convert their money into digital dollars. In fact, surveys show that 95% of Nigerians would prefer to be paid in stablecoins rather than in naira. In South Africa, the issue is different. Sending money across borders can be expensive, and officials say that transferring $100 to a neighboring country can cost up to $30 in fees. Stablecoins cut those costs sharply. Payments can move almost instantly and at a very low cost. Now, globally, the stablecoin market is now valued at more than $300 billion. Most of these coins are tied directly to the US dollar, and that gives users stability. But it also raises new concerns. Central banks warn that this could lead to what experts call digital dollarization. If people save and spend in digital dollars instead of local money, governments lose control over their own currency. There are also fears that money could leave countries instantly online, avoiding local regulations. For now, the message from the streets of Nigeria and South Africa is clear. When local currencies feel unstable and banks feel slow or expensive, people look for alternatives. And across Africa, more and more are choosing digital dollars in their pockets. And that's it on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and good night.